All right, joined now by a man who is very familiar in the basketball community here in Memphis, Faragi Phillips, now the new head coach of the Lemoyne-Owen men's basketball team. Faragi, first of all, congratulations. What's the last week plus been like for you?
Thank you. Busy, really busy, taking phone calls, recruiting, just trying to build a foundation that can have some stability going forward, but it's been really crazy.
Have you hit the trail already?
Yeah, I've been recruiting, man. It's been fun, but it's been busy. Like I said, phone calls and texts and FaceTimes and Zooms, but it's been really good.
I want to hit on where the program is in just a second, but first of all, on your end, how did this come about? Was it a quick process or what?
Yes and no. I think once they identified, that they wanted me to be their next head coach, they kind of, pushed forward. But to answer your question, it's probably been like a month, a little bit over a month, the whole process.
Why this job right now for you?
I just think, I'm the man for this chapter at Lemoyne. I've been in this position before, not as a college coach, but as a high school coach, kind of revitalizing the program. So I've had some experience in what that looks like and what it takes. But to answer your question in terms of why, I just think this is something that God wanted for me right now in this journey in my career. And I'm excited about it, and I'm grateful. I'm tremendously blessed, and I'm thankful for President Davis and AD William Anderson to consider me and then offer me the job.
Obviously, decorated career for you at the high school level,
Yeah.
and then Vanderbilt under Jerry Stackhouse, and then under Penny here at Memphis.
Yep.
I do want to throw it back to like 8 or 9 months ago when obviously Penny makes the changes to the staff. Mm-hmm. For you personally, how difficult was that?
I mean, anytime you lose a job and, you have to kind of find something else to do at that juncture of the hiring cycle, it was kind of difficult. But I understand the situation that Penny was in. He and I have a great friendship to this day. He's helped me so much in my career over the years. I owe a debt of gratitude to him, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that he gave me to be a part of the Memphis Tigers basketball program. But, I understand the situation.
And in the 8 or 9 months since, I'm sure a basketball head like you has tried to sharpen the tools as much as possible. What have you focused on in that time frame since that happened?
I watched the game. Obviously, I watched a lot of basketball. Just making sure that I'm sharp in terms of what's going on. But man, I had a great time of spending some time in the elementary school in South Haven. Shout out to Greenbrook Elementary and Principal Cobbs and Miss Maddox. That's where I was the last few months, and I had a phenomenal time dealing with some kindergarten, first and second graders, but it was an awesome experience.
Nice, I love that. It's probably a very different experience
too.
Yeah,
it was fun though.
All right, let's talk about magicians. I don't have to say, it's obviously been a very tough 2 years since Bonzi left for the program. Mm-hmm. In your estimation, what's missing?
Well, I think Bonzi did a phenomenal job, for the time that he was here, and then obviously they came upon some rough times these last 2 years. With anything, you just got to have togetherness, you got to have belief, you got to have an understanding of what you're trying to do as a program, not only on the court but off the floor. And then you got to have the resources, and you got to have all of the things that go into making a program successful. And I can't tell you how excited I am that President Davis, who's probably been on the job the last 2-3 months, he's had some innovative ideas. I think he's really excited about the progression of the school and the basketball program. But I just think, man, it's just belief, faith, and commitment, and an understanding that, hey, we're going to do some incredible things that hadn't been achieved in Lemoyne-Owen in a very long time.
What's ground zero for you? Where do you start?
Recruiting. Recruiting is a lifeblood of any program. Once you kind of get some guys that you can identify that's going to play how you want them to play, that kind of represent who you are as a coach, then the next thing is kind of get some guys that's going to help me. So putting together a staff that's going to be loyal to me, that's going to support me, that's going to understand that it's going to be one language, one voice, and we're all going to be rowing the boat in the same direction. And so those two things right now are next on my agenda.
We're talking about recruiting and building a staff.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a complete reset here when it comes to the roster and the coaching staff and kind of resetting this whole thing and building it up from there?
There are some guys that's going to return. Obviously, I'm giving everybody that wants to return an opportunity to be a part of this program moving forward, but there are going to be some changes going to be made in that regard as well. The program in terms of our staff, it's going to be pretty much an overhaul. I just think right now, from what I'm trying to do and what the program looks like in the state that it's in, I think it's time for some new blood in terms of people that I'm going to have in place that's going to help me and going to push forward in the direction and the culture and the foundation that I'm trying to establish.
What is the character and the identity of a Faragi Phillips-led team?
I think, over the years, as it pertains to me having to be the leader of a program, we've always played great defense. We've always prided ourselves in playing really, really hard and not losing the tough battle. So I think our teams are going to be defensive-minded. We're going to play really hard, and we're going to be really, really tough. And then also, on nights that we can't play offense well, that we're not scoring the ball, we want our toughness and our defense to get us some wins.
Do you think you guys, if you recruit right, can be competitive next year, or is it going to take a little while?
No, we're not trying to build this thing 2 or 3 years down the road. We're trying to be good right away. With the transfer portal, it has afforded us, and every other team in this country, as it relates to college, instant success or instant opportunities for success. So we're attacking the transfer portal really, really aggressively, and we're trying to win next year, and we're trying to win now.
Why can Lemoyne, with whatever resources you have, the location, all that, why do you think it can be successful again?
Well, I would ask you the question, why not?
Fair.
I just think, the program is in a position right now with new leadership, Christopher Davis. I think A.D. William Anderson is understanding what I need and the resources that it's going to take to get those things done. And I'm excited about, the talks that we've had. And so for everybody that asks me why Lemoyne, I ask them why not.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about keeping the best talent as far as high school players in Memphis, in the city. But a lot of times in that scope, we're talking about playing for the University of Memphis for the Tigers. Reality is there are a lot of good players in the city that can't play Division I ball.
Right.
How big of a focus is going to be keeping some of that top talent that is maybe Division II caliber that can be really good at that level in the city playing for you?
It has to make sense. We have to recruit good kids. We have to recruit kids with integrity and professionalism and understanding that, hey, you're a student first, you're a person first, and then you're an athlete second. So we're going to make sure that we do our due diligence in recruiting and making sure we identify kids that's going to represent our university in a great way. And then also we understand that, hey, you have to have some talent, you have to be able to play, you have to have some gifts that match what we're trying to do as a basketball program. And I think that city offers it. And so, we've identified some guys in high school already that we think can fit the mold. But more so than anything, we just want to give a kid an opportunity to have a chance to play basketball and to get a degree and to make something of themselves.
Been a head coach, high school level before, assistant on the D1 level for a long time. How much do you envision the difference being in a D2 head coach, if at all?
There's a tremendous amount of differences that, when it comes to play about high school and college. The main thing is understanding that there are rules that you can't kind of bend or even break on this level. High school, this kind of been a lenient in terms of how you handle certain things. But I think more so than anything, just the X's and O's and then, how we're going to approach things as a basketball program, that doesn't change. That's synonymous with just winning. But there are some rules and there are some compliance issues that we have to be aware of, and that's going to be very important, and that's the biggest difference.
As someone with the Memphis roots that you have, what does LOC mean to you?
It means a lot. They've given me the opportunity to be a head coach, and that don't come too often. And I am incredibly grateful for President Davis, taking this chance on me. And I'm also excited about, the things that we can achieve together. And I can't tell you how grateful I am and my family is to those two guys, including, A.D. Anderson. But I'm excited about, just the whole shebang of what we're able to do. Everybody since I've been on campus have been so welcoming. Everything has been pleasant in terms of how everyone is trying to help me do the things that I need to do and help me to achieve some success as it pertains to this part of the career that I have.
Last thing I got, we know what the city is like when their sports teams are successful. And usually we're talking about the Grizzlies, Tigers basketball team, Tigers football team, and whatnot. But there is a large part of this city and this community that cares a lot about the welfare of Lemoyne-Owen.
Yes.
If you could be the guy that brings the Magicians men's basketball team back to relevance, what do you think it would do for that school and the greater community at large?
I think, that's one thing that I've been so pleasantly surprised about of how many supporters that Lemoyne-Owen has. Obviously, it is the 5th oldest HBCU in America, and I didn't know that before now. So, the support that I've been given, the people that have reached out, they are largely supporters of Lemoyne. And so I'm excited that I can have an opportunity to restore some greatness to Lemoyne-Owen, not just the basketball program, but to the school, some pride, some excitement. And I foresee that that happening for sure.
Faragi Phillips, the new head coach of the Lemoyne-Owen Magicians. Faragi, best of luck, and we look forward to seeing what you guys look like at the fall.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having me.